Hello everyone. Today we are going to cover about feature and services of Azure. So in this session, I will tell you about cloud services, how cloud works, and how Azure works. What is exactly Azure? So let me tell you about myself first. So my name is Apoorva Sharma, and I am Microsoft Certified Data Engineer and Microsoft Certified Azure Administrator Associate. I have experience in cloud architecture designing and cloud infrastructure setup. Also, I worked on cloud migration and Azure environment setup, and I have done some certification also on Microsoft. So, this is a brief introduction of myself. So, let me tell you about the codes, whatever things are we are available in codes. So, with help of this course, you get an idea about the fundamental knowledge of a cloud side and Azure side. Like, first, if you want to know what is Azure, so you know that part that yeah, Azure is a type of cloud. So, next question will come that what is cloud. So, in this session, I will tell you about a cloud introduction and cloud services and about everything about cloud and Azure. Also, if you are a beginner, you want to build your career on Azure or on cloud, so you can this session will helpful for you, because in this session we will cover you for a basic idea about Azure and cloud. Or also, if you want to if you want to start your career on Azure or cloud, so AZ 900 is the first examination you can fight. So AZ 900 examination also you can get idea for that. So let me tell you about a course agenda, whatever topic we will cover in this session. So in this session, I will tell you about cloud computing, like what is exactly cloud and or cloud computing, how many cloud we have, how many cloud services we have, and what is Azure. What is Azure reasons, like how many reasons Azure have. Like we have so many reasons Azure. And also we have some resources as well. We have Azure services as well. And what is the benefit of Azure? Why we need to use Azure? So in this session, we'll cover these many topics. Also, we'll cover about cloud benefits and as well. So our first topic is the cloud computing or cloud. So what is cloud computing? As you can see, cloud computing is the delivery of computing services over the internet. It's enabling faster innovation, flexible resources, and incoming of scale. So with help of cloud computing, you can store your data, you can analyze your data, you can compute your data with a better network. So we can say, take an example. So if you lost your cell phone or your system, and then it is a chance that where will your data will go. But if you save your data on cloud, then your data will 100% safe and secure. And whenever you buy a new cell phone or a new system, then you can find your exact data in the same form with a proper security. Or also, you can take an example of also of a cloud computing. Like you can say, if you buy a ticket of a train or a bus, and you are traveling. So what is happening? Like if you are traveling in a bus or in a car, sorry, or in a train, so you buy a ticket, and you receive your bus or your train from a location. You take a seat, and everyone like every customer will do the same part, and you take that your seat and you go to your destination. Same thing cloud is also doing. It will give you that part that you from location to your destination, whatever thing you directly come on the cloud and you search it whatever thing you want. So from location to destination, it will provide you that a way so that you can find your answer or whatever thing you want. Same thing, you can store your data also like that. So these things are doing with cloud. Also, if you want to start your business, so you need to get an infrastructure and everything you need to do for a physical business if you want to develop. But on cloud side, no need to do this thing. You can directly come, and cloud will helpful for you. Like infrastructure, these setup you no need to do on the cloud. So building your business and finding anything, offer your data as well. So cloud will helpful for you everything. So this thing is a cloud. So now what is the next topic? So we have a different type of cloud available, like public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. These three type of cloud we have. So our first cloud is a public cloud. So as you can see, public cloud owned by cloud services or hosting provider, and it provides resources and services to multiple organizations and users, and is accessed by a secure network and connection, and it typically over the internet. So if you take an example of public cloud, so Azure is the best example for a public cloud. Like me also can use the Azure, and you are also can use the same thing. Like everyone can use Azure because Azure is a public cloud, publicly everyone can use. Or not for Azure, also you can use Google as well, Gmail, these things also we can use virtually, everyone can use, not only me or you. There are any more things like some you can say social media sites also you can see we are using the same services, but we have so many people are like billions of people are using same platform, but with the different subscription. Like if I am using Azure, then I am using a different subscription. If you are using Azure, so you are also using a different subscription. With a different subscription, we are using the same platform. With a different services, we are using the same platform. So public cloud is a give you a platform with a publicly available with a different subscription and with a different services whatever you needed. So this is the public cloud. Now next is the private cloud. So private cloud give you like a, if, as you can see, organization create a old environment in their data center, and organization is responsible for operating the services that they provide. They does not provide access to user outside on the organization. So if you belong from an organization and they have their own cloud, so only that organization people or employee can access their cloud. But from outside, or like anyone from outside, that is from belongs from your friends or family, no one can else use this cloud. Only you, or like you belong from this organization, so only you can use. Or anyone like they have a 50 employees, 500 employees, or 1,000 employees. Only they can use the private cloud because that private cloud belongs from their organization, no one else. So only whoever belongs from their organization, they only can use the private cloud. Also, if anything kind of services, any kind of operating system, these things will managed by their organization. So like if you are using public cloud, so everything will managed by Microsoft. But if you are using a private cloud, so everything will managed by your organization, whatever cloud, like which organization cloud you are using and which organization cloud you are working. So this. Now next is the hybrid cloud. As you can see, it's a combination of public and private cloud, and it allowed to application to run in the most appropriate location. So like what is like it's a majorly combination of the public and private. Both are combined in the hybrid cloud. So it's like maybe it's like if I take your example like Azure or organization people. So it's a combination for both of that, public or private. So now next is the cloud benefits. So we have a three type of a cloud, but we have a benefits as well. If you are using a virtually these kind of big network, so we have a benefits of also for that. That's why we are using, because we have a benefits of that. So our first benefit is a high availability. So what is high availability? So for that high availability, you can take an example. So suppose you want a data of an hospital's patient. So you can directly put a name. For example, you sort like a name is a Bella. So you put that name of Bella of that patient, and you will find that all data of about Bella. Like what is the address of Bella, who is the parents of Bella, why, what is the issue with Bella, why, or like like she is an accident and whatever thing. So you will find every data in a bit of second. You no need to wait for that. Yeah, you put your Bella's name, and after 1 hour you will find your every data. Like after 1 hour you will find Bella's details. No, you put in a bit of second, in a 5 second, maybe in a 5 second you will find your data of Bella or anything. Because I'm taking an example of an hospital, but yeah, anything, or you search anything on Google, or in a bit of second you will find your that time, same time you will find their details. So that is a high availability. Now fault tolerance. Fault tolerance is also like a same of high availability. only little bit difference between them. So, like sometime high availability will take us few of second. Okay, so but because yeah, few of second like you trade, but maybe it's take us some of second of couple of second for, or it after a couple of seconds they will give you that result. But in fault tolerance, what is happening if when more people are using of same data center, and more data center have a so much pressure. So let's say data center have, or else a data center have a some fault, so that data center is not working fine, then they have a secondary data center as well. So without knowing the path to customer, that directly come to like if you have any fault to your primary data center, it will directly come to secondary data center. Yeah, it have a some load, but no need to find that, like customer didn't have any idea that your data is directly come to first to secondary. So this is the fault tolerance. Now, scalability. So, for example, in a scalability, for example, you can say you develop a website, okay, and when you develop a website, some people are coming and they are checking your website. Yeah, whatever things are available in website, what will you provide with your help of your business? So, some people are coming and checking, yeah, these things you are providing. But after growing your business, after growing your website, amount of people are coming and checking your website. Since what time? What is the thing will happen? Thing will happen that your speed will slow. Maybe your website will not working fine. So scalability, what does scalability do? You can increase that speed, you can increase that data, you can increase that amount of time, that yeah, like you as per your demand, yeah, you can increase or decrease. Yeah, you are using yeah, many more amount people are coming and they are using your website, so you can increase that thing. And maybe it will helpful for everyone. Yeah, if you increase that part, then it will be helpful. Yeah, your website will have speed have fine, like it's not impact your website speed, even it will give you a better result also. So now elasticity. Sometimes what is happening, yeah, we are using some services, but sometimes we are not using. So you can increase or decrease. Yeah, you are, if you are using a services, you can increase. Yeah, you can increase that idea in this much amount of in services I'm using. But yeah, after some time, yeah, I'm not using. These people are using. I am not taking the things. So you can decrease that size. So elasticity is increase and decrease as per your, like it's a flexible for you. You can increase and you can decrease the size as per your choice. Global reach, as you can see on cloud, if anything is available on the cloud, so it's a global reach, everyone can see. Yeah, yeah, everyone can check about according to that. Yeah, it's a globally available, so it's a global reach. Customer latency capabilities is same, like I to high availability. Yeah, no need to wait for customer. Yeah, customer put that thing. Yeah, yeah, I need this data, I need a like for example, I need to find a like nearby veg restaurant nearby me. So same time I'm getting that idea. Yeah, same time I'm getting that list. Yeah, these many veggies are nearby you. So no customer latency capabilities. So no need to wait for customer. Customer will find that the same the time. That is the customer latency. Disaster recovery. So what is a disaster recovery? So for example, you have a data center in any location. Like for example, you have a data center in Chennai, and the Chennai data center will destroy it for any disaster, whatever thing, like whatever feeling thing is happening, and your and disaster with your data center will destroy. So when a customer, but customer don't have this idea, yeah, your in any disaster your data center will destroy, or so what did they said? They put their data, they find their data. So for this time, what is happening? Like I told you that fault randomness. Yeah, if any disaster, any fault will come, or your data center is not proper working, or in any disaster, your data center will destroy. So what is happening? That from primary data center, it's moved to secondary data center. So customer don't have any idea that if he will or she will get their data from not from primary, it's from secondary data. So customer don't have this idea, but they didn't they find their result properly from not primary, from secondary, because primary data center is not there. So they will find their data from a secondary source. But now maybe that is the case because from transferring primary to secondary, maybe that is the case, they will lose their data for like maybe 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, so maybe a bit of second. That is the case. Okay, for example, you can say 12 p.m. Yeah, from 12 to 12 5 p.m. they lost their data. So what is happening? 12 to 5 minutes data maybe they lost. So in disaster recovery, what they do, they find that in 12 minutes, 12 o'clock, 1 minute to 23 second to 12 minute so like 12 o'clock 5 minute or 23 second maybe they lost data. So in a second, in particular millisecond also, they find that these many data they lost for this minute, for these many seconds, these mean millisecond, they find and they recover data, they find their data and they give that part to customer don't have these idea, yeah, they lost their data, they will come from primary to secondary. No, customer don't have this idea, but with help of disaster recovery, whatever like 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, millisecond of data, if they lost, so in with help of disaster recovery, they recover that part and they will find their data again. In a security, as you know, cloud have a data security. If you have any your data on the cloud, so only you can access that, not me or not anyone. Maybe there from if there is your friend, no. If there is your family, no. Only you can access that. So they cloud will provide you better security. Only you can access your data. Only you can access your services. Only you can do. So if you allowed someone to do, yeah, they can use. But if you but if you didn't allow, so the cloud will provide you proper security, so no one can access your data. Now, next move to the next topic. So, CapEx or OpEx. These also are a cloud benefits. CapEx means the capital expenditure, and OpEx is the operational expenditure. As you can see, the upfront spending of money on physical infrastructure, cost from CapEx have a value that reduce over time. Spend on product and services and needed pay as you go and get billed immediately. So for CapEx, you can take an example. You buy a laptop. Okay. So this is a physical infrastructure. You buy a physical thing. Laptop is a physical infrastructure. So spend a money on a physical infrastructure. So capital infrastructure. Okay. So, but maybe if you, okay, for example, you buy in 2022 a latest laptop, but maybe after in 2025 your laptop value will reduce. Okay, but if or also, so that is a physical also, you can see that part, you can see that laptop, yeah, I have laptop, I can see that. But apart from that, operational expenditure, what is that? If you, okay, you buy a laptop but you need a window to run it. Okay, so you buy a service window so that your laptop will work. So with help of window, you like you buy, for example, you buy via window 10, but after some time your window will update it to window 11. So it's automatically updated, pay as you go. It will not reduce as per time. Yeah, after some time your window will, no, pay as you go. If you are paying for this, if window 2 and to window 11, window 12, window 13, so it will come to as pay as you go. Okay, and also you get bill also immediately. If your bill windows ever, so you also get that bill immediately. So that is the operational and capital expenditure. Capital expenditure, you can see that laptop you have, also window also you can see, but that is a service. You are using that services as you need it, and also you are paying as you go. If you are using yeah, updated, so you pay as for that. Pay or not, yeah, it is not regular increasing. You are using an old generation, yeah, or this is also fine for you. So as you need it, you pay for that. Now we have a consumption based model. So as you can see, cloud services operate on a consumption based model, which means that end users only pay for the resources that they use. Whatever they use is what they pay for. It is for better cost protection, price for individual reduce, and services are provided, and billing in based on actual uses. So as per like consumption based model, what is exactly? Consumption based model have a three different type as well, like as pay per day, pay per hour, or pay per execution. Low. If you are using our services as per day wise, so you can pay for as per day. Yeah, I'm using this services as per day. So I'm using this services for these many days. So only I need to pay for these many days. Okay. But if you are using services, so some services also pay as per hour, like a virtual machine. If you are using a virtual machine for a 2 hour, for a 3 hour, for a 5 hour, so you need to pay for 5 hour. You have your virtual machine, but after 5 hour you switch off your virtual machine, so no need to pay for that. So some services also paying for day wise, some services also paying for hour wise, or some services also paying for execution wise. If you execute the services, only that time you need to pay. No need to pay as per day wise, month wise, hour wise. No, only when you execute, that time only you need to pay. So like as some services, if you are using day wise, so you need to pay as per day. As some if like a virtual machine, if you are using a virtual machine 2 hours, so you need to pay for 2 hours. For like if ADF, you execute a pipeline, so that time at the execution of that time, you need to pay for that execution time. Okay, so that is a consumption based model. Now next is the services. How many services cloud have? So these three services cloud have: infrastructure services, platform as a services, and software as a service. Infrastructure services is also calling IaaS, platform as a service is also calling PaaS, and software as a service is also calling SaaS. So if you are using infrastructure services, so it is a cost, not cost so much cost effective. So compare the platform as a services and software as a services, infrastructure services is a little bit lower cost, because in infrastructure, as you can see, you need to take care of our data and or whatever who is like accessing your data, application, what is application you are using, runtime, when your data is running, operating system, which operating system you are using, virtual machine, which virtual machine you are using. So these many things you need to take care of that. So these many things you need to take care of that. Okay, but compute, networking, or storage, these things will take care of by Microsoft. So only these three things take care by Microsoft, and these things you need to take care. So for that, these things, data and access, application, runtime, operating system, virtual machine, so these things you need to take care. But compute, networking, and storage, these things will take care by Microsoft. So that's why it is a like low costable compare than platform as a services and software as a services. So compare them both of them, this is a lower cost. So after that are platform as a services. So in this, you need to take care about the data, whatever data you have, who is accessing your data, and whatever application you are using. So these things you need to take care, and everything else will take care by Microsoft. Like runtime, what is your runtime, what is your operating system you are using, virtual machine which you are using, what is your computing time, networking, which network you are using, storage. These many things are using by take caring by Microsoft. Only these two things you need to take care. Now, software as a services. Sorry. So in software as a services, you need to take care about the data and accessing. That's it. No need to manage anything, because everything is managed by Microsoft. So that application, runtime, operating system, virtual machine, so everything will be taken care by Microsoft. Only you need to take care about your data. That's it. Who is accessing your data and what is your data? That's it. You need to take care in the software as a service. That is the highly costable. That is a more compare than software as a service. This is a low costable, and compare than platform as a service and software as a service. This is a lower costable. So also IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. These three are using by Azure as well. In Azure also we are using like the cloud, because Azure is also a type of cloud. So that's why. Now our main topic is Azure. So I earlier told you, yeah, Azure is a public cloud. So Azure is a type of cloud. So let's see whatever mentioned here. So Microsoft Azure is the cloud computing services from Microsoft, and Azure offer a range of software as a services, platform as a services, and infrastructure as a services. It is given an option for a deploying application and services on Microsoft management, data center infrastructure, and Azure 50 operating regions are more than any other cloud provider. So Azure is totally managed by Microsoft, because Azure is a public cloud and Azure is properly managed by Microsoft. Anything is happening if you deploy your services with help of Azure. You can deploy your services. You can store your data. You can execute your data. Whatever thing you want to perform, you can do. Like you can do your database services. You can store it. You can use storage services. you do whatever thing you want, like you want to store, you want to execute, you want to build your services, you want to deploy your services, anything you want to do, you can directly do in Azure, and it will manage by Microsoft. No need to manage by you. Yeah, you deploy your services in Azure, only that thing you have done. By like managing these things will do by Azure or Microsoft. And Azure, as you can see, I earlier told you we are using SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. So these main services we are using. Okay, so that is also managed by Microsoft. So if you deploy if you deploy your services, or also you can say you can you create a pipeline in ADF. You are using SQL database services. You store your data in blob, any structured data, anything you are doing in Azure. So that is managed by Microsoft or Azure. So Azure is a totally based on is a public cloud, and that is managed by Microsoft. That is the main thing of Azure. Okay. So now, how many regions Azure have? As you can see, Azure offers more global regions than any other cloud, provide with 60 plus regions and representing over 140 countries. And the regions are made up of one or more data center in close proximity and provide flexibility and scale of reduce customer latency and prevents data residency with a compliance offering. So as you have a 60 plus regions in a 140 countries. So 64 regions exactly as you have. And it will provide a flexibility or scalability. If you like, I earlier told you that part as well, that yeah, if you are using some services for some time, so you can reduce the site, how many amount of services you are using, how many people are using the services. Yeah, like 1,000 people are using these services, so you can reduce or increase your size as per that. If 1,000 people are using that services, you can increase that size. But if yeah, 100 people only are using, you can reduce the size. So as per your customer latency, you can reduce or increase your size in Azure. So as you have a so many reasons in the different countries, so they are offering us different things like customer latency and also different data center close proximity. So these things are Azure provide. Okay, so next is the Azure resources. So we have so many Azure resources, like we have a 20 plus Azure resources available. And Azure resources are a component like a storage, virtual machine, networks that they available to build a cloud solution. It build a cloud solution. Okay. So Azure have so many resources available. So for some example, we have a virtual machine, a storage account, virtual network, app services, SQL database, and Azure functions. For virtual, these things are for a security purpose as well, like virtual functions, virtual network. These we are virtual network will provide a better network. So it will provide you like security as well. It will be like security as well. You will find with this thing, or also proper timing. Like if you're using a virtual network in Azure, so you don't have so much rush. Okay, so you don't have so much rush. Yeah, if you're using because it's not it is only for you, or whatever things are, whatever services they are using with you, so it is only for you, so there are not so much rush, so it will give you a better speed, smoothness, and security. Also Azure function also you can use for security as well, like if you can see, if you are using a proper way, yeah, if you are creating a app services, and after that you are in a particular network, so and you have so many data, so it will maybe keep you a burner on that. But if you're using Azure function now, so Azure function will provide you a different on a some app, for some app services, Azure function will provide you different things, yeah, like for .NET, Python, Java. So these things Azure function will provide you some benefits for that. Sorry. So also same like Azure virtual machine, I already told you, yeah, it's a pay per hour basis. So you can go pay as you go. Also you can store your data in Azure. You can use a different database services also in Azure. You can use different app services also in Azure. So these things are available in Azure resources. Now Azure services. So we have a 200 plus Azure services available. So you can see we have some DevOps services, we have some mobile services, application also we have, Infra also we have, analytic analyzing also we have, database services also we have, and security service also we have. So we have a different services available in Azure. Okay. So we can pay only whatever things we are using. If you are using DevOps services, or in particular DevOps services, if you are using a particular thing, yeah, you need to pay for that. If you are using database services, or you are in database service, you are only, you can say, yeah, if you are using database services, you are using the Azure Data Factory, so you need to pay for that. So Azure have so many services, and we have in different parts. So in a more of amount, like in a 200 plus, we have Azure services. Okay, so we can't cover these many services in this single session. So I will tell you for some major services we are using in Azure. Okay, so first is the Azure Compute Services. So in Azure Compute Services, sorry, yeah. So in Azure Compute Services, we it's on demand computing services that provide computing resources such as disk, processor, memory, networking, and operating system. So we have these computer services are also available, like virtual machine app services, container services, Azure Kubernetes services, and Azure Virtual Desktop. So as I told you that your virtual machine is paying for as per hour. Yeah, if you're using for 2 hours, if you're using 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. So virtual machine what is do? It go pay as you go. Like if you are paying for 2 hours, so you can use it. Yeah, if you are using so many virtual, yeah, in a single deck, in a single place also you can use a virtual machine. So you can take an example of virtual machine like that. Okay, you have a you have a system with a Windows server. Okay, you want to use a different Linux you need to use. Then how you can do? Because you have a Windows system, so you can use virtual machine here. In a virtual machine, you have a same thing. You have a different desktop, and you can directly download the Linux here. Okay, and also you can take, okay, you a person. Okay, you can say Seema is a person, and she want to use a 10 virtual machine in a single project in a single time. Okay. But she can't do because she only have a 8 GB RAM, and she needed 10 GB RAM. So what she do? She can use virtual machine here. Okay, so in virtual, with help of virtual machine, she can divide that part. In virtual machine, she can use a different 10 Azure virtual machine. In Azure virtual machine, she can do that part. Okay, same thing, app services. So what is app services? If you want to deploy, okay, if you can say, if you want to deploy a website, okay, if you want to create a website, in front end you go and you create your code, and front end you everything you do. But if you are using app services, everything will go on a back end side. You can't see what these deploying things, these things are happening on a back end side, but you can't see that part. Okay, so it will go on a backend side, and you only, what you need to do in app services, you need to go, you need to use your code, and your result will come. Okay. So these things are app services. Now a container services. In container services, you need to create a different container. Okay, so you create in a different container in container instance. And now what Azure Kubernetes do, whatever container you create, it will take care by Azure Kubernetes services. Okay, so like you may create these many container, so these many container will take care by Kubernetes. Okay, so now is a virtual desktop. Virtual desktop is a little bit similar like a virtual machine. It is also using a Microsoft 365. Okay, so this thing, some function also same for a virtual machine and virtual desktop. Now we have Azure storage services. So we have a different type of Azure storage services available. As you can see, Blob, disk storage, Azure files. You can see in Blob is Azure Blob storage optimized for storing massive amount of unstructured data such as text or binary data. So in Blob, you don't have any idea whatever format data you will find. Maybe your data will come in JSON format. Maybe your data will come in image format. Maybe your data will come in text format. Maybe your data will come in binary format. You don't have any idea. So whatever unstructured data will come, it will goes to blob. It will store in blob. So this is a blob storage. Disk storage is what is that? It will provide disk for virtual machine application and other services to access the use. So disk will provide a disk for virtual machine. It will provide a disk for virtual machine, web application, and other services. So this is storage by using by them. Now we have a Azure file, and it is a Azure file. It is a highly available network. For it is a like Azure file seed. As you can see, seeds up a highly available network file share that can be accessed by using a standard server managed message block and protocol. So it will come in not in unstructured format. It will come in a structured format, in a file format. So whatever data will store in a Azure file, it will be in a file format. It will be in a standard format, like in a SMB protocol. It is using SMB protocol. It will come in a particular format. So Azure file will save their data. Now we have Azure database services. So we have also like a different database services like Cosmos DB, SQL database, MySQL, and PostgreSQL. So what is Cosmos DB? You can see is a globally distributed database service, and let's say elasticity and independently scales throughout on the storage. So Azure Cosmos DB is what is doing? It is storing it is using non-relational data. Apart from that, what is SQL doing? Azure SQL relational data. So Azure Cosmos DB is using non-relational data. But if you are come to Azure SQL database side, is there relational database services based on latest stable version of Microsoft SQL Server database engine. So SQL will use relational data and Cosmos will use non-relational data. Now come to MySQL side. It is a fully MySQL database services app developers. So whatever database is the MySQL using, it is the MySQL database. So these have a different database they are using. If you are come to Cosmos DB side, it is using non-relational data. If you want to use relational data, then you can go for SQL side. If you want to use MySQL database, then you can go MySQL side Azure database. If you want to use PostgreSQL data, then you can go to Azure database of PostgreSQL. For PostgreSQL, so these many database services we have. Now we have some benefits of, even we have more benefits of Azure, but only 5 primary benefits I mentioned here, like speed of services. If you are using cloud, or if you are using Azure, then it will give you more speed. If like instant speed, I earlier told you that high availability, fault tolerance. So high availability, it is a highly available. On the bit of second you will find your data. If in a bit of second you will find your result. So it is a benefit of that. Yeah, you will find a speed of services. Yeah, you will find a bit in a bit of second you will find a result. If you execute your pipeline, yeah, it will take some time. Yeah, this much of time, but after some time you will find a result. It will give you that these many times they want. So if you are using any service, you will store your data in a bit of second. You are using the services. Yeah, this many things are happening, and your data will store there. So in a bit of second, yeah, this thing happen. So it will give you a speed. So in the fastest of speed, in backend side, it will come in fast inside, and you will find your result exact the same time, in a bit of second, in a bit of minute. Okay. It's to give you flexibility as well. If you are using like if you are using some services, so you can like in much of amount of data, like 1,000 people, 200 people, 500 people. So you can, it will give you flexibility. Yeah, these many amount of data will using, I will increase the size. No, today we know some such a people are using these things. You can decrease the size. So as per device, as per services wise, you can use or decrease as per you are flexible for using the services, or your team will using the services. As per that, you can do that part. Now also like integrate delivering pipeline, like whatever pipeline are delivering. So these things also is helpful for you. Azure disaster recovery also, I told you that yeah, any disaster will happen and you lost your data. So that time also your data will like 2 minutes, even a bit of second or a millisecond data if you lost, So this thing also will you can find with help of Azure. It will give you security as well, so no one can check your data, no one can access your data. It will provide you the security as well. So these thing is benefit of Azure. So in this session, I will tell you about a cloud services, Azure, about Azure services. So these things, benefits of Azure. So this thing I covered in this topic. So this is so this session will give you a basic idea about cloud and Azure, like how, what is Azure, what is cloud, what is services we are using, whatever thing is we are using. So this session will give you that idea.